Daily XOM. So XOM's 2 hour gap's gonna get filled today to 92. I was looking at those
You
90.
sharing your screen?
Yeah. Oh no. There you
Got it. Are we on YouTube or what are we on right now?
go. Both YouTube and Twitch. I had to do a quick adjustment, but I was looking at those XOM calls this morning, but I bet you they already skyrocketed. This is a short week, so it's very volatile this week from what I've seen in the past. Like usually the market tends to tank during these times, but I'm not gonna say that the market's gonna tank during this week. So for the most part, I'm just gonna take it safe and not trade too much
Mm-hmm.
and see what happens. That's usually what I do during these short weeks. I just let the market do what it has to do, and then I get the opportunities once it's all over. But let's see right now. So XOM is a go. Carvana's up 11%.
Which one?
Carvana.
Oh, Carvana, yeah.
It's gonna go to 30. I think I'm gonna take these Carvana calls as a lotto. I wish I can open up an options chain on here. It says that that's a thing now. I was reading the other day that TradingView's like newest feature is an options chain, but I have yet to find an options chain. Is this it? No. This is just a bid. Just like if I wanted to buy stock.
Is my camera frozen on?
Yeah, it's frozen on Discord.
Weird.
Yeah, like it's just not live. It reconnects every time. I'm not sure what you doing, Freddy.
Me either.
Not joking. It might just be the connection or something. Discord's always a little laggy.
Good. I'm gonna take a toke real quick.
um, the 30 calls for the week, the ones that I'm gonna take are 60 cents. So I'm gonna enter them at. I'm just gonna enter a limit to buy at 60 cents and see if they get filled.
Carvana?
Yeah, for Carvana, 30 calls. It's a lotto, so I'm risking what I can lose here. Just on this, just on the
So
little
you
daily gap.
it doesn't matter for you because I know on Forex I try to get the best, like I said, like on the dollar peso, right? For instance.
Yeah.
I try to get the best entry possible so I'm not in any drawdown. Is that is that different for you when you take these entries?
I try to get like it's kind of the same thing. I try to get the cheapest fill that I can at the moment right now.
I feel like damn, I'm like right now on Carvana. I
Right
feel
now,
like damn,
right now it's heavily spiked. Yeah, it's up
yeah,
12%, but I think that by the end of the day, it's gonna end up filling the gap to 30. But if we don't get that, it's a lotto. So it's really something that I'm willing to risk here and let it go to zero. If it's something different, like if I was looking at a swing or something else like that, it would be more like enough opportunity. I would have already be catching it like on a red day and be entering calls or something like that. But since it's a lotto, I really don't care. I'm entering what they're giving, what they're asking for right now. Probably a little cheaper, but when it comes to a lotto, it's different. I just don't really. It's not like
And the market wasn't open yesterday, right?
no, no, no.
So it closed bullish on Friday.
Mhm.
Gotcha.
Yeah. It broke under this like wedge, and then we ended up breaking back up. So that's a false breakdown, and ended up breaking back up. We're about to just
So can you explain that lotto real quick again? Like I see you want to fill the gap up to the what's that
the
moving
30. So
average right
yeah, we have a 30 SMA gap to 2967. We're already breaking above 20 SMA with lots of strength above the daily as well, above the 14 SMA as well. What I want to see is a vacuum. What a vacuum is when you see the candle just go from the 14 SMA directly to the 30 SMA, and then most likely wick from there and get a candle tomorrow that forms inside the gap above the 20 SMA or something like that. But I want to see this either today just get vacuumed directly to the 30 SMA and just wick. What this is a falling wedge. The stock broke down, saying that the wedge wasn't gonna hold, and we are just gonna end up going down instead of holding. Because what I was looking for was like a bigger time frame, a double bottom off of this area when the stock came all the way down to 23, and that false breakout was the breakdown from this double bottom. So essentially, I was thinking that we were gonna break down as well, just because we broke down from this double bottom, and we were gonna get a straight down. We were gonna get a flush, but we ended up getting a 2B reversal, meaning it broke the double bottom and ended up coming back up. And now we're looking bullish on smaller time frames, like the daily, where we're now inside the gap. And instead of it breaking down, we got a false breakout, and the candle ended up forming outside of the trend right here, which was the breakout, and ended up forming a little hot dog right at the edge. And the third candle ended up forming inside the gap, which made me just trigger to entry here, just to buy that daily open. And as soon as we get that wick, I would be out. It's
so,
more of a faster
so
trade.
is your target just a day trade to fill that gap
Yep.
and then you're out?
Yeah, I'm just looking for the price action, just letting him move to that area like a magnet, and as soon as we wick from there, I'm already gonna be out.
And that you're doing an option on that?
An option, yes.
And then so pretty much you're buying how many options?
I'm just only entering one because it's a lotto.
Just
So
one.
I'm risking $65 to make an extra 80 if it goes up. More than 100%.
Yeah. And then what would you make off of that?
The what I'm looking to close these contracts at is at 165 from 60. So I would be making $105 if we do fill this gap.
If I can make $100 a day consistently,
I mean, honestly, dude, if you can just make $50 a day, you don't even have to, make such huge gains.
yeah, yeah. Well, it's all about to me. It's all about building your bank, right?
Right.
Compounding, so
Then
you can
that's
make bigger trades, right? Risk more.
exactly. So like trade small and get consistent with some smaller gains, like $20 every day or whatever. And then once you got that down, up that up to like $50 a day. Then eventually you can start trading more heavy. Because it's all gonna start with you starting small, entering the same trades, and then eventually finding the exact same trades with entering more amounts of money. But
And
I always
you don't go to your lower time frames to get your entries. You're not worried about that.
no.
Like you'll just shoot from the hip from looking at a day to or a 4 hour.
It's because a daily and a 4 hour gap. They're more the bigger time frames, so they tell me where the
Yep.
stock's gonna move to.
Yep.
So in my eyes, the bigger time frames are more important than the smaller time frames. So I also, it's not like I have the weekly open. That would be a different story. And if I had like weekly positions, then that's pretty bad. But it's just a daily gap. This either has to happen today or tomorrow. And if we don't get this by Wednesday, I'll begin closing my position for either a loss or break even, depending on wherever the stock's at. But I enter my lottos on Monday, and if they're not hitting by Wednesday, I begin to close them. Just because the reason I do that is because decay starts to happen on those contracts, and if the stock hasn't moved or gone in the direction I want to by Wednesday, then the decays are already going to start hitting those contracts pretty heavy. So by Thursday, they could be down 50% alone on just the decay. And it's going to be hard for them to go all the way back up. The stock would have to move a lot in your direction for you to go break even and then start making money again. So different. I'll probably be looking for different lottos on Wednesday, and then for the Friday close. Looking at these airlines because they're also. Oh, I was looking like DAL was gonna look for this double bottom, but I don't know. It just looks really choppy. I don't really want to do much with it. It's looking like DAL might start going down to those 26 areas. It's the one of the airlines that seems to be lagging behind compared to like AAL. It's almost down to its lows. I mean, BA is pretty much, Jesus Christ. 137. See, but these 3 days don't look too. Or this 2 day. 2 day tells me that on BA we're gonna fill the gap to 151 because we broke inside the gap. 14 SMA forms support. Next candle forms above 20 SMA. We have to hold this 20 SMA today to get this fill to 150 sometime tomorrow. But if we can't hold this area and we reject that 142.70, then we can get another flush down. But this looks like a big glizzy, so not bad. So this would be like a time where I would probably enter some starters for BA. But like I said, there's just a lot of chop, so I really don't want to trade too much, especially these bigger stocks that are contracts are very expensive. We can always look at them though.
But if you had a bigger bank, you wouldn't mind, right?
Yeah, no, yeah, I would definitely
It
not.
was about you don't want to risk $100 right now.
Nah, not on chop. Like, I just don't like to trade when I don't have 100% certainty on things.
How long do you think it took you to get good at maneuvering in this trading view?
Trading view?
Yeah, like how you're able to control it and go from one thing to another. Like, how long do you think it really took you to get good at moving throughout the platform?
Uh, oh well, I start.
Tell like you could tell you know how to handle it pretty good. It's pretty
uh,
on point, quick.
cause I started using Thinkorswim platform first before I used TradingView, and the Thinkorswim platform. If you ever use that platform, oh my god, it's so hard to use. So it doesn't have like free roam like this where I can just grab my screen and move it. It has a highlight. So like if I were to click, it would highlight this whole section, and then it would zoom in to whatever I highlighted. Super weird, but that's just the way their platform, I guess, works. It was very hard to use, and I got used to it. I ended up getting used to using their platform. And when I switched to TradingView, I found this to be like super simple compared to Thinkorswim. I was like, it was just like a complete 360, and like just charting and drawing and everything seemed a lot more easier on here. So I ended up just switching to TradingView. But I guess I just had experience using Thinkorswim, so this was more like a lot easier for me to use when I hopped on here. Didn't seem too hard. because I already knew how to draw my fibs and all that, and like I knew how to like draw them from where I needed to draw them from and all that. All I needed to do was to set my levels in their properties, but I can't share those.
Yeah.
So yeah, this was Comcast. One way you can trade too is just using the SMAs as resistances. So here, the 20 SMA was a major resistance. The stock climbed up, tapped 20 SMA about twice, three times. Third time was the charm, and then we got that huge flush.
What question? Because like, what is your? So you go from one pair. What time frame do you like? You call it like a top down analysis, right? Like you'll kind
Yeah,
of go through different time frames to get.
yeah. Usually I start on the weekly time frame and see how the weekly looks. See if we have a gap. See if we have just see how the weekly looks. Depending if the weekly needs to show me another gap, like it looks like the weekly gap already filled, I'll open up the 2 week gap so I can see the bigger version to see where we're gonna go next. If the 2 week gap's already filled, I'll then open up the monthly gap, which is gonna show me everything, show me where the gap's at, show me where exactly we're going next. And if the monthly is filled, which during these times most of the monthly gaps are getting filled because we're on a huge pull down right now, so a lot of these stocks are going down and filling it.
Say gap. Do you mean like the next closest SMA
I'll show you.
to come
So,
back and touch it?
so this is a SPY monthly gap. 14 SMA is here, 30 SMA is here. This is the entire monthly gap. These monthly gaps exist on most stocks. IWM has them, XLE has it, XLF has it, XLU has it. These monthly gaps are there, but they're the biggest gap that they have. So they take the longest, or they take very long to get filled. So they're gonna
But
be
you would consider that filled already. I mean,
yeah,
just a
yeah,
little
yeah,
bit
yeah.
more
No, no,
time,
yeah.
right?
It already filled. We're just getting a wick
Yeah.
from there now. So
Yep. So it's a pullback from
yeah,
going to that, testing that level.
yeah. And there's some that haven't filled it. Even though Apple looks like it filled it, technically we never touched that 30 SMA. So in short,
And you
Apple.
use break this down for me. Like, say I'm a new trader, which is it's a little like I am towards your method of trading, right?
Uh-huh.
Man, I get the language and this and that, but it's like break it down to like if someone never traded before and they're new to moving averages or whatever, right? Like I see you got three of them there, right?
Yes.
And then so the top one is what?
So the blue one here, this hard blue one, is the 14
Yep.
SMA. The green one is the 20 SMA, and the orange one is the 30 SMA. The green SMA,
Which is the lowest, right? The
yeah,
orange is the lowest,
orange is the
and then
lowest.
the green is the highest. So
The blue is the highest.
oh fuck, I must.
You can see, right? Think I lost you there, Fred.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
My bad.
No, you're good.
Just because all I'm saying is because it's like a little. I'm still trying. I'm still trying to. I'm having a little trouble
No, for sure. I
following
know.
along, and then I'm thinking like, fuck, what if someone didn't really know anything about this, right?
Yeah. So, in short, so this is the 14 SMA blue line. Big. It's more like thicker than the other ones. Blue line is 14 SMA. Green line is 20 SMA, and orange line is 30 SMA. The green line is more of like your make or break area. So here I'll show you a better example, maybe because these are monthly gaps, so kind of harder to show on a monthly gap. But kind of want to see like one where I showed manas or something. Because he also asked me the same thing, like what they were.
That's another thing is too, like when you get an audience, it's like it's so you're gonna have to repeat yourself so many fucking
Oh
times,
no,
right?
yeah, for
Because
sure.
you get new people that come in daily or whatever.
You said mute people?
New people, yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I literally heard you say mute people. I'm like,
No,
no.
no, no. I think I have a. Does it sound like I have a little lag?
Yeah, yeah, a little bit. It like cuts off a little bit, so I gotta be like, what'd you say?
Yeah, it's weird because mine's jumping in and out sometimes too. So
No, you're good. So, I guess we can use this gap here. So we have IWM. We have the 14 SMA here. Then we have the 20 SMA in the middle. And we have the 30 SMA at the top. Usually, this is how they form. When it's the opposite, it's gonna be on top. If the stock is on top, then the 14 SMA is on the top and the 30 SMA is on the bottom. When the stock is under the SMAs, then the 30 SMA will be on the top and the 14 SMA will be on the bottom. And the gaps work the same. They up and they work the same way down. The 20 SMA is mostly used as, like I was telling you earlier, as
like the medium.
like the make or break, right? So the stock first, we got this like rejection off the 14 SMA. We broke inside. Next candle formed under. Then we got a huge flush. Then we got the next candle trying to attempt to climb back up. Taps the 14 SMA, rejects it, goes down. We do this for a good amount of time until the candle finally decides to break inside the 14 SMA and close, because this is the daily. So we got a 14 SMA close inside the gap. Then the next candle proceeded to open above the 20 SMA, which is a strong area for you if you were in calls, or if you're looking for calls on this opportunity in this situation. This would already initiate an entry point because it started forming support above the 20 SMA. Let's say the candle formed under the 20 SMA, it would have to break the 20 SMA and then close above the 20 SMA to confirm that we're going to hold. But the fact that it opened above the 20 SMA shows strength in that area and that we're going to hold this area. And the stock ended up climbing as high as 183 before closing at 182. And that closed inside the gap, which already you would be thinking, all right, we're going to fill the gap to the 30 SMA. And since the momentum of this was so strong, the stock ended up bouncing out of the 30 SMA and going to 187. What I mean by momentum is when the SMAs start to cup tremendously. Usually you see a cup, it goes down like this, and it'll take a while for the cup to go all the way back up. But it was so aggressive here that we straight up like went from a U directly up, and that caused a lot of momentum here in this area. You have to kind of be able to see that when
And
you're.
that's why you use lower time frame EMAs, right? Or
Yeah,
speed.
yeah. So you would go into like on the 4 hour here. IWM has a nice setup. Now we're gonna go to 172 here, and I should have just opened up with this. So we had a 14 SMA break. This is more like a wedge. I can show you really fast. Oh,
Call that consider like a fake out. It faked you out thinking it was gonna
okay.
continue up.
Yeah. So we broke up. We got the fake out. We got this huge gap down, kind of like a little mini bear flag like we got here. This was a lot bigger. We fell. We got a smaller one here, and then we fell right. Now, the stock broke up for the first time. We're holding above the 14 SMA and holding above the 20 SMA at the same time. So in my head, this is really bullish, and we can see 172 sometime probably by the end of today, since this is a 4 hour gap, or tomorrow. I'm thinking tomorrow, since this is IWM, it's the Russell. It's not gonna move as heavy as like SPY or ES, depending on how ES, but it's already up 2%. SPY is already up 2%, and it's the same situation here. We got a gap to 380, which was what I was saying on ES, right? That we were gonna go to 380. 4 hour. Look, here it is. 4 hour 30 SMA break was gonna go to 380. 3,808, which is 380 on SPY. So I use both. I use ES to look at where SPY is gonna go, just because ES technical analysis or ES's charts look a lot more cleaner, I guess, than SPY's do. SPY has a lot of this like gaps here, and the candles are a lot more choppy compared to how ES looks. So I use ES a lot to tell me where SPY is gonna go, and also I use Dixie to determine that area. So like here, using the SMAs, I sent you the picture yesterday.
Yep.
A 30 SMA break. The reason I say a 30 SMA break will send us to 3808 is because 30 SMA is the last and final resistance. If we break that 30, we have nothing else stopping it. It's going to start shooting for those highs, which is this area from where it fell from. This is the high that I'm talking about. It's going to try and claim those areas, which is 3080, a little bit higher because it ended up going to 384, but I'm not gonna say that. I'm just gonna get that 380, and you can be done. Call it done, and you can get out. You can get out there.
So,
Um,
say it does close above that area, right? Would you then say it's a couple days later? Would you go to the higher time frame, see what the next gap is to fill?
yeah. So this is the daily. The daily hasn't even formed any gap yet. But that's just because
Yeah.
it's so far above from where we're at.
Yeah.
So we're gonna get. Let's say we do get a 3080 fill, and the stocks end up closing above over here. These SMAs are gonna update tomorrow. I'm assuming
Yeah.
the 14 SMA is gonna
They'll
be,
start spreading apart, right?
yeah, they're gonna start looking more like this. So the 14 SMA is probably
Yeah.
gonna be touching this blue fib 3920, and this one's gonna start opening up, going more this way, and the blue will start going down
But your next target
drastically.
would be the lower SMA, the blue one, right?
My
The 14?
target yeah, the 14 SMA
Yeah, it would be up there, right?
would be my
Yeah.
target to start closing my position or trimming, depending on how you trade. If you want to just get it all out, you can use a 14 SMA as a trigger to get all out, or use it as a way to trim. That's what I use. I use them as like my support and my resistances when I'm trading. If
Yeah.
if I'm inside a gap, like it's holding inside the 14 SMA, and I'm in bullish trades, like I'm in a long call or something, if it breaks the 14 SMA, then that's a signal for me to close my calls, because we didn't hold that 14 SMA gap and we're gonna flush downward. So that's a good exit for me. But if we hold the 14 SMA and we spike to the 20 SMA, that's telling me that we're bullish and I can enter a little bit more, or I can just load the boat a little bit more.
Yeah. With this same strategy, work on say a 30-minute, 15-minute.
Yeah,
Say if snipe,
it'll work on a
you're
five
a
minute.
sniper and you want to get a really good entry and then be in and out.
Yep, yeah, it'll work on all the time frames. So I'm trying to find one, but essentially, yeah, they're a lot more choppier on the smaller time frames. So you're gonna have to
Can,
find something
can
that,
you try let's say a forex pair.
sure.
Let's look at the peso since we've been looking at that for a little bit.
So 30 minute looking at kind of bullish, but I want to see some of this action, touching 30 SMA, break above a little bit of 30 SMA, then flush. The reason I say something like that is because this is sort of like a bear flag, but it's not 100% due to the fact that it's super choppy.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not gonna say it's a bear flag. But here, as of right now, the pair is holding above 30 SMA, which is pretty bullish. So breaking this recent high of 2021 would send us back to 2081, and that'll start me. Well, that's my stop out. So I was up $2 on my paper trade earlier, bro. So I didn't understand this. I entered a paper trade on Webull, on not Webull, on here the other day, and it said I entered 1,000 pips short, like I was selling 1,000 pips.
Yep.
How much?
So
How much was I buying essentially though? Like if that was like actual money, how much was that?
yeah, and that's the problem when we do. This is called an exotic pair. Like you don't
Yeah,
really
yeah,
trade these,
that's what
right?
Manas told me. It's an exotic pair.
So we don't. I mean, you can calculate it. Uh, I really don't know how to break it down exactly because I don't trade it too much. only if like there's a really good setup. So it's a little difficult. But if you like, if there's a bigger spread on these too, so when you jump in, the spreads are way more. But yeah, man, I don't know. I have a
So
gold in my gold in my nut sack, golden nugget,
yeah,
right? Uh, he trades this a lot. So he's someone that can break it down easier than I could.
got you. So like GJ then, something that's not an exotic pair.
Yep. Yep. Let's go, GJ.
Is that something like that? So you could enter a certain amount of your own cash then, instead of
Yeah.
entering.
So yeah, it's just a little different with forex. That's what I'm saying. Like it's got like I we could talk price action all day and stuff like that, and I really don't rely or use too much of moving averages.
Yep.
I just look at price and the levels,
Mhm.
right? So
Right.
I'll look at a heavy resistance or a heavy support, which is the top and the bottom right there. It's pretty easy on the day chart, right?
Yep.
So if
Yeah.
you will put a yep there and then there, right?
So look, so
We're we're
using
trading
using
into a
yours.
range.
So here's like how you say, the Fibonacci's you things that I use. It's
Yep.
literally trading off support and resistance. That's all that I use.
Yep.
I drag it from its high, which is what we're talking about, and
Yep.
I bring it down to its low, and then I
Yep.
get all of these levels here,
Yep.
and these
So those
determine.
are levels that you can expect a bounce from, right?
Mm-hmm. So
Say
if you
say
can
you're writing
see
it up.
if you can see here, 20 SMA sort of aligns with this 167 area. So breaking 20 SMA breaks the 167 fib, breaks all three of these fibs, and 20 SMA and 14 SMA. That tells me
Yeah.
that we're gonna fill this entire gap down to 166, which I don't doubt. This is a glizzy forming from my eyes, what I've seen. Here we had these green crows, looks bullish as hell. Stock hits 167. And then we get a candle all the way down here. Why all the way down here? Why not form up here? But no, it forms all the way down here, breaks down, wakes off of 20 SMA, which is a bullish signal. This can still turn green, and we can get a push above 167, and we can get that breakout to 167.40, 416. But if we don't hold this 20 SMA and we break down, then we can fill this gap to 166. So you can enter above 167 for calls and short under 167.12. I guess they're both 167. So above 167.25 is calls, and under 167.12 would be shorts. And that's just how I would trade this essentially.
So, so this today's candle closes. This is a day chart, right?
This is a 10-minute chart.
10 minute. Oh, what the fuck?
Yep.
Why does it say? Oh, look like it's a day. Like
I
I'm
can
looking
bring
at the.
this is the daily right
I'm
here.
looking at the middle of the chart. What is that
So
called? The wet. The wedding? No, what is it called in the back?
the
The
middle.
background?
Oh, this
Yeah, yeah. What is it called?
the wet mark.
Yeah, wet mark. I was
Um,
looking like that. It looked like one day.
so this right here is a daily.
Okay.
Super bullish, right? We got
We're
uh
coming up to a triple top. That's what I'm
yeah,
seeing.
30 SMA bounce, and then we got a strong ass bounce here. When it breaks out of that 14 SMA, it's full bullish mode. That's when the stock starts to form support at the 14 SMA. Then you see that big old dildo start to go up. And if we want to look for those highs, we're bullish, right? So 10-minute chart here, bullish, holding above 14 SMA. Remember I was telling you that earlier. Breaks 14 SMA, bullish. So what did we do? We broke the 14 SMA, candle forms here, falls, attempting to obviously break back into the gap, touches 20 SMA, and then goes all the way back up and closes above both. Bullish. Next stock starts to form next to it. I'm assuming that it's probably going to either fall and touch the 14 SMA and then bounce and go really high up, or continue the trend from here and start going up. But I do think that we're going to start trending up from here. Since we already got a trend from the 30 SMA, we're going to start forming a support at the 14 SMA. And then from the 14 SMA, we can start seeing new highs.
So then, okay. So then, would you move your to to like an hour chart to see what the next levels would be as far as oh they're already
No,
yeah they're gone.
the next level would be here. Your highs of 168.
To me,
Usually,
I'm expecting that candle to close with the top wick and then pull down a little bit and then continue up tomorrow. That's what I'm looking at on this pair.
that's some old stuff on here. So it looks kind of ugly, but this is a inverse head and shoulders. So stock falls here, pair falls here, touches 160. We get a nice sharp bounce, consolidate before we fall lower. First shoulder falls down, breaks the 160 neck area, forms the head here. And then we get a nice climb all the way back, breaking its neck, or it's not its neck, but its golden line here of 163, and touches its recent highs of 168. And we get another pull down and a heavy flush all the way back down to the 160 areas that we hit here to form its second shoulder. So we got one shoulder, we got a head, and we got another shoulder here. With all this strength pushing it up, I don't doubt that this is a daily, that tomorrow or sometime we fill sometime this week, we already fill this 168.74 area, and with so much strength breaking it, it'll send it to 170 if it breaks that 168 area. But third time is the charm.
So remember on Monday night, I was sharing that I got into GU, and then I hopped into this pair too for buys.
This pair?
So I had yesterday, last night, no,
Yeah.
not last night, 2 nights ago, Monday night, Sunday
Yeah.
night.
Yeah.
I was sharing with you guys on the group chat that I got into a position on GU, and then I add another position on GJ. So this pair. So I was in buys already, but how I trade is I like to have as low risk as possible, right?
Yeah, like you said, you wanted to
So
get in at the best price or whatever.
yeah. So which I did, and it ran up, right, and
Mm-hmm.
then it pulled back, say on a 30 minute, when it was up for a couple hours and it came back, right?
Yep.
It wicked down, took my stop out because I moved my stop to break even, so I wouldn't lose any money, just in case it reversed it on. So I was being conservative, right?
Right.
So it came back down to my entry, wicked out, and then continued back up.
So it took you out of your position and then ended up
Yeah,
going to your
and then
direction.
yeah, so I'm missing out on this trade because I got knocked out, but I didn't lose any money. But I could be up like $200.
Well, in that situation, next time, take a small loss. I mean,
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
in
See, if I told you, remember I showed you like I showed you my risk to reward. It was like
$14 to
I
make
would
50 or something like that.
14 to make yeah 80 or some shit. Yeah. So that was like on GU, and then I took a similar lot size risk on GJ, what we're looking at now,
Yeah.
and yeah, they both took me out. So and continue up, and that's the problem is like, do you like yeah, my bias is to buy it, right? Is it's going up.
Right.
But how we I don't know, I don't want to say how we do it as forex traders because a lot of people trade differently, but how I have been trying to
How you do it.
how I try to do it is I don't always do it because I move my stop to break even as soon as I get into profit, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now I've removed the risk out of that trade, right? So I can't lose no money. So if it continues up, which I thought it would have the momentum to keep pushing through that resistance that made it bounce back down to my entry, right?
Mm-hmm.
I thought it had enough resistance to where, I mean, enough people jumping in, people momentum going up. So I was like, all right, I'll just if it comes back down, then it's not meant to be. It's like it'll be choppy. It'll be kind of messing around in that area, and I don't want to be playing that game. Kind of just wanted to be in and out for the day, right?
Yeah,
Kind
yeah,
of like
yeah.
how you were talking about.
A
and
quick scalp or something like that.
yeah, so I just moved my stop to break even. So, like I said, came back, knocked me out. But if I would have left the stop where I was willing to risk $14, it would have continued up,
Right, right.
and then
Well,
I would have been safe. So it's just sometimes I'm willing to risk it, and it just depends on what I'm trading, how I'm trading it.
and how it
But
looks,
that,
right?
yeah, and how it looks. So that's how I took that trade that day. But normally, I'll be like, I'll be moving my stop down because I still feel like my bias is correct, but then it just fucks you over, right?
So this time
So
it was just kind of like I'm not trying to lose money, and
exactly,
I'm just trying to be in the green. And
I'm trying to be in the
since you
green.
were already in the green, you were like, I'm gonna
Yeah,
move
it
my
was like at that point, I was like, it was a free trade for me, right?
right.
If it went, it went. I would have been cool,
See,
and
like for me, I could do the same thing with my lottos too. I could hit a stop loss pretty close to where I entered. And if it starts to reject and hit break that 14 SMA and we get a flush, then it can stop me out before I take an even bigger loss.
yeah,
But the way I look at them is that they're lottery positions. So you buy a scratcher and you scratch that money's gone already. You gave that lady that $20 bill and you bought that ticket. That $20 bill's gone. And if you scratch that ticket and it's a $0, you just lost $20. So
yeah,
when I buy a lotto, that money that I initially entered in that position is in my head it's gone. For a lot of people, that's risky, that's gambling, but for me it's a lotto position. It's something that I'm willing to let go to zero because it's money that
yeah,
I can afford to lose. For the most
yep,
part, if the lottos hit, it's like a lottery. Like when you win a lottery ticket, you can turn that $20 into 500. You make a it's a lottery. So these lottery tickets, the reason they're so cheap, or the reason I let them go to zero is because they're so cheap, and I'll let them go to zero because it's not really nothing that I'm not really risking a lot. But if the gap fails, these contracts have the potential to go up 400 to 500%. So it's the same thing with you. If you know that this has the potential to run up crazy, and you're only risking $14, you know why not, right? Let those $14 go to shit if it doesn't work out. That's where you learn, and then next time it comes around, you see where you can enter and what you need to wait for. If you study GJ, and this is all you trade, just GJ, over time you're gonna understand how GJ works, and you're gonna understand that oh my gosh, these little consolidates, that's normal, bro. GJ does this every single day. I'm gonna just enter my position here because I know that in 3 days GJ is gonna break out, and we're gonna have that gap fill like it always does. And that's kind of like how I started my trading journey. Um, I looked at a few ticker symbols before I ended up like expanding my watch list. So like at first I started trading a lot of Exxon Mobil. Before all of this, before Exxon Mobil started trading at like $90, I would trade that stock a lot. So a lot of my focus every single week would be Exxon Mobil, Exxon Mobil, Exxon Mobil, and eventually, over time, I understood how Exxon Mobil was going to trade. I understood that if all the energy stocks were up and ExxonMobil wasn't, it was literally just lagging behind everything else. So I would literally off the bat, just because it wasn't green, but everything else was, it would just trigger my call entries, and I would buy a crap ton of calls that open. And guess what? ExxonMobil at the end of the day was up 5%. It was just lagging behind every other energy stock. So you can find that's just from what I learned from my mentor is like stick to 3 or 4 symbols and study those and master those symbols before you add a whole bunch more, and eventually you'll have a huge watch list set up of like stocks or pairs that you know how to trade at the back of your head. Hopefully you heard me. I don't know if you lagged out,
yeah. I can hear you.
but yeah, I don't know where I started from and how I led to that, but
I know that's the thing with this is you can go all day and get lost into it.
I know, bro. My mind just wanders when I talk about this type of stuff, but
That's the hard part is like to try to really break this down to for a newbie to explain it.
Yeah,
Like, where the hell
cause
do you even
cause
start?
I'll be like, yeah, no, for sure, bro. Let me get into it, and then before you know it, I completely went off the road and started talking about something else, and I'm like, bro, honestly, I don't even remember your question. AJ, AJ looks like we're running up right now. So does this move up with the market?
Man, this shit's like going in and out sometimes. Fucking me up. I don't know if it's Discord or what, but like all my other stuff don't do that. I don't have no lag and anything else.
I think honestly it is Discord. I've had so much trouble with Discord, so it might just be Discord to be honest. Could be just me streaming and all of it's just not allowing me to connect. Dude, AJ's gonna go back to the highest of 96. This is a glizzy form inside of the gap above the 20 SMA. Next candle forms above them. Attempt to
I
break.
talked. I think I talked about it last time we were live that we were sellers of the yen because it was going to be weak.
So if if we think that yen is gonna be weak, we would short
This
AJ.
will no, this will push up.
This would push up. Okay.
So yeah, yeah. So look at it as the first pair, right? That AUD, right? The first
Yeah.
pair
Right.
is always the home team, right?
Gotcha.
So do you if you sell this, that means you're selling the Australian dollar. If you buy it, then you're buying the Australian dollar.
Yeah. Okay.
Like it'll go up if you buy it.
This is just like going against the yen.
Yes, exactly.
So here would be the New Zealand dollar against our dollar. So here we were looking at before this bounce.
You get a good bounce right there at that
Yeah,
blue.
before we had this bounce, we had a bearish hot dog form. So what I was looking for was either the stock to break under it, and we got a flush, or we get either a bounce, which this is something that I was looking at could happen. So here the daily, we have that 14 SMA. We could reject that, like you said, we could go lower as well. So let's take a look at the 4 hour. 4 hour, we're getting some of this action where we broke above the 14 SMA and 30 SMA. We hit a huge run up and then we bounced back down to the 30 SMA, and we had this like continuation all the way back up. Sort of, we're getting sort of that here where we broke out of these SMAs where that momentum pushed us all the way up. Then we had a push down all the way to the 30 SMA. Then we bounced. Now we're getting a bounce from the 20 SMA and 14 SMA and forming a hot dog here. If we break these highs and start going higher, we can get a continuation inside the gaps here, and we can fill this daily gap once it begins to form. But there's a lot of chop on this. I would not trade this. I would mostly trade. I would more trade like
You
GJ.
have a UCAT on your watch list.
Yeah. This is more like a double top. So here, 30 SMA break from such a run up. We got a bearish hot dog forming under the 30 SMA. If we get a break under this recent low, it'll be a pretty good entry to short. Back down to the 30 SMA here of damn. So that's not even a lot of points. Can you still make a lot of money from that
Hell yeah,
yearly?
yeah, dude. It's so every pip. So say you put 10 by, so every pip is
If I short from here to here,
yes.
how much would that be?
Well, it depends on how much you were risking.
Let's just say I put like, well, I guess you can't even calculate it, right? If I put like, let's say I put $15 in right here to short to this.
Yeah, you can, but it what you can, yes. You just it's a little hard.
Yeah.
You
Huh.
just gotta get be used to how it works. But you see the dit
I'm
those.
gonna have to get into it
So,
because I opened up an Wanda account too.
so you see the last fuck. It's hard to see on your screen because it's fuzzy. Hold on, let me look on my phone. So I need to see the numbers on the side.
Oh, I get what you mean. All right. Tell me if you can see it now. I was streaming at 720p quality. It's streaming at
I can
1080p
see
now.
it on my TV. I just have to get up and look at the TV. But okay, look, UCAT is at currently it's at 29. I don't even really look at the first number. I always look at the last four. So 29, 22. So say if it goes to 29 flat. So that would be
22 pips.
20 pips, 21 pips, 23 points. So it's the last two. So 29, 21. You don't look at the last number. So I just rounded off to
Yeah, you
29,
don't. The
20,
one that's
29,
moving the
right?
most, obviously, you're not looking at that.
Yeah. 29, 22, right?
Mm-hmm.
So from 29, 22 to 29 flat is 20 pips. So 20 points, right?
Right.
So if you say you risk $1 right now
Yeah.
with 20 pips, you would make 200 bucks
Off $1?
off of $1.
No
You,
way.
I swear. So, but where's your stop gonna be? That's what I'm saying. The sooner you
So,
can put your stop to break even, and that trade runs to
so
your take profit.
if you put $1, because in the options world, if I put $1 in an option, the most that I can lose is $1. If I put a
Yeah.
dollar in this, is the most that I can lose $1, or can I lose an extra 100?
So as soon as you enter a trade on Forex, you will be negative because of the spread.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so it depends on the spread. Sometimes the spread is like 1 pip, or it could be 3 pips, right?
Okay.
So you're automatically going to be in drawdown in the negative. What do you guys call
Okay.
it?
It could be.
Out of the
It
money,
could be,
right?
yeah, OTM, out of the money.
So automatically, as soon as you put that, the broker takes its cut.
Right. So you're gonna be down $3, $4 or whatever off the bat.
Exactly right. Well, no, not on $1, because on $1, if you're down, remember 1 pip could is on $1 is $10.
Okay. So you would be down if it's like
You
three.
be
If it's three
say if it's
pips,
3 pips, it
it'd
would
be
be
like
30 bucks,
$30. Gotcha.
right?
Yeah.
But remember, our our target is to make 200, right?
If we hit the, if we
If we
fall,
hit the
I
29
mean,
flat, 29 flat, right?
yes.
Our
I mean,
target
I'm
is
looking.
29
I'm looking
flat.
for lower, but yes, yeah. If we're looking for
Yeah,
just
yeah,
29.
of course. I'm just trying to make it simple.
Yeah, 29. Yep.
So 200 bucks for 20 pips. So each pip is $10 on $1 trade. And that's what I'm saying with the Mexican pair. It has so many damn digits. I forgot what it was.
I know
That's
it
why.
has 22.7 and it has like an extra little number. I don't know what
Yeah,
that is.
yeah. It's a little more like
So like here,
every pip is 1,000
if I
points.
entered, if
Shit.
for me, this would already be keen to enter like a small position. But I guess a small position here, even a fucking dollar, is a lot of.
I would if I'm gonna enter a trade right now, I'm going to look at the 30 minute. I'm looking at the 15 minute. I'm looking at the 5 minute because that's what I'm saying. Every pip is crucial.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Because I understand.
best,
I understand now because on here it's yeah, every pip is like fucking $10.
yeah, exactly. So
That's fucking horrible. I mean, it's not horrible. It's just
it's
like
not, but it's like
it's hella followable. You gotta
it's
be.
just different.
The
It's
thing
different
is
how
that
you guys
because
trade.
in the options world, you don't have to be a sniper. You know what I mean? But in
Exactly.
here you do. You gotta pull the trigger at the
Yes.
exact moment, or else you're fucked. Not fucked, but you have to wait in the red zone a lot longer if you know if you enter early.
And that's why a lot of especially forex traders don't make it because you have to be very patient. to get
I'm I'm patient,
get
bro.
the
I
right.
can be in the red zone $200 and still hold, but if I'm only down 2 pips and I'm down that much, oh no, bro. Like that's something different.
Yeah, yeah.
Like if it looks overly good in my direction, but I'm down heavily just for the fact that I entered too early, that's just gonna cause too much emotion in my gut. It's gonna force me to close.
Yeah. So
But
I'm more of a once it breaks out, I like to see it come back to the price and
tw-
then take a short.
20 minute here. Let's say you entered your short here right now.
Yep, you
That
could.
it's at,
Yeah.
it's at 29.24. My
Yep.
stop loss would be 29.31. That would
You're
be my
shorting it, right?
that would be my stop out area. 29.31 from 29.24. That's
Yes.
6 7 pips.
Yep.
Oh
On
my
a dollar
oh my
seventy.
god, that's almost $100 and that's
Yeah,
nothing,
that's what I'm
bro.
saying.
Okay, then
I know.
I
And
guess
then guess what? If you hold and it breaks that support down there, you're gonna go down another 50 pips or so, 30, 50 pips.
but it doesn't get more expensive. Like let's say because you were talking about earlier how you can miss your
Right.
opportunities. If
Oh
it
yeah, yeah.
if it if it let's say it breaks the double bottom for an automatic glizzy and it's gonna start to flush and you know it's about to start flushing, why not just enter there? Is it if you think it's too late? Is it because the pips are more expensive or what's going on?
The only time the spread gets more expensive is when like the end of the day and when there's a lot of traders coming in at the market, which is the like usually the market open
Uh huh.
or the market like each market, right? Remember I talked about the London market,
Yeah, yeah.
the New York market, but right now is there's not too much activity, so the pip count, the not the pip count, but the spread will be lower. So it like earlier it could have cost you 3 pips to get in, but now it's only like a pip or a half a pip. So it just depends on when you get in.
Fuck. All right, you know what? I'm gonna just help y'all out. I'll show y'all the technical analysis behind it all, but
But how I trade it is I grab a strong resistance or a
yeah,
strong
it's
support,
cause
and
all
I just
this
look for
is
bounces. I look
yeah
for a bounce there.
all this is like you said price.
Right now,
It's
I wouldn't want to sell it to where it's at right there because there's not a lot of room
yeah,
to
but you're
so I
not
would have like
you're selling
sold it up
it.
top or buy it when it comes down to support.
You're
Right.
selling it. You're selling it for like if I'm entering a sell here, it's not to here. I'm entering a sell down to these levels, 128.63. But like
Yeah, yeah,
that's hella pips, right? That's like thousands of
yeah,
dollars.
yeah.
The
That's
way
but
you're
you just
telling me.
yeah, that's just you being in and out of the market in a matter of 5, 15 minutes, right?
Yeah,
You're in
like
and out.
the way that I'm trying to the way I was looking
Yeah,
at it,
yeah.
right? The way that I was looking at it was like, okay, we got a bearish hot dog. I would enter my short here, let that short go to this area, this recent lows. Boom, I'm out because we can get a bounce there. I'm not looking for a bounce. I'm looking for take
And that's
profit.
how you can compound your account easy
Yeah,
by taking in and out of the market like that, but taking a higher risk.
right. And with the forex, I see that like it is going to be more expensive. So if I were to enter here, I would have to already be like 100% that it's gonna go there, which I'm kind of am. This is super ugly. Ugly that it's as ugly as if like a stock would look like this. I would be entering puts right now. 30 SMA under 30 SMA, hot dog under the 30 SMA. As soon as
Oh
we
yeah, there's a hot dog coming. That's
as
good, right?
right as soon as we break these lows, the recent lows of these three tickers,
You
it's
could
gonna
take it down to the next support.
you can take it down to 128.61. So since
Not that, but look where the next support is.
yeah, right here.
Yeah, so
But what I'm saying is, since every pip is crucial, you could just enter the second it breaks these areas. You could enter.
it's not that crucial because look, you could risk 10 cents and make a dollar. It depends on how much how what do you want to risk, right? Like to
But
be in
that's
and out of
but
the market,
but that's what I'm
that's
saying. Like
yeah,
if I wanna risk, because the way Manos was telling me is that it's all margined, right? So
yeah, yeah,
if I put in $20, I can lose more than $20, right?
yes,
That's
yes,
the shit.
because
So weird.
yeah, yeah, if
Like I get it, but it's just like that's the part that sucks, right? That
yeah. Or what you could do too, like you talked about, you're gonna get your 5, 10 pips, right? Make $70, whatever, right? And then you can leave 10% running if you think it's gonna continue down.
yeah, you can leave a runner,
Yeah,
or
you,
yeah, I guess even in this situation, you would just leave like a few bucks in, which would be your runners, right?
yeah, yeah.
I'm gonna have to get into it, like enter my first trade or something on
Yeah,
Awanda.
I'm in the same boat with you, trying to understand the option game too, and the way you trade with the fibs
Yeah, cause
and the estimate, right? Like it's just a little different. It's to me that's all noise. I just take the levels that it
and
gives me.
that's fine
And
too.
yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah, and then like right there, that's the easy break
yeah, you didn't even you could ignore
from the
all
resistance,
you
right?
could ignore all this noise, like you're saying, all of
Yeah,
this, and just draw a simple line from
yep,
here to here. As soon as it breaks that, you could be like, okay, we're gonna go to the
yeah.
next level, which
Just
is
find your next.
here.
Yep, you just draw a line there and
Um,
there. Okay, cool.
and these are what I'm doing is what you're doing is that these are over the years. These are all of my levels. So like if you notice, it's the same thing. We break this
Yeah,
fib, we break this fib, we go to this
yep,
fib, and we go
yep,
to this fib. We break this fib, we go to this high, which is this fib. We break
yeah,
this fib, we go to this high, which is
yep,
this fib. It's just next highs. That's all
yep.
there is. But rather than me looking for them, I draw this there. I have my levels like that. So that's it. Just makes for me it's clear, but I understand for a lot of people it's like, oh my god, this dude has a whole bunch of lines on his screen. like
Well,
I
I'm used to it because uh, I I have pivots. That's only like I have pivots that I use to, but I don't rely on it. Like pivots is the same thing. It's the future. It's the past resistance, and it's just your levels.
right.
And it shows where people will get in and where people would get out because of those certain levels. So it's the same thing, but I just tend to find that price action is I don't really need it. I'll jump over just to like do a like confirmation or just kind of like just to double check where I'm at. I just don't
And
have it on my charts all the time.
because back then,
I
dude,
like the naked chart.
I had RSI, I had
Yeah, yeah.
ADX, I
I'll
had
take a look at that stuff, right? But I'm
VWAP, I had all this in my head. Now it's just
yeah,
nonsense, bro. I call the MACD the McDonald, like all this random shit. Like if someone used to throw like the MACD at me, I'd be like, bro, just look at the SMAs. Everything is in the SMAs, or everything is just in the candles itself. If you can trade off a falling wedge, you don't need an SMA. You
yeah,
don't need any of that.
yep, yeah,
You can just use a hot dog and a falling wedge, and you'll be good.
yep,
Golden trades. But a lot of the time, or not a lot of the time, but yeah, okay, I'm gonna say that. A lot of the time, you're not gonna find patterns, so you have to use other things in your
yeah,
favor. So that's where the 1430 gap is for me, because there's no patterns, there's no technical patterns. It's just a gap, and
yeah.
I have to use recent breaks to confirm that the gap's gonna get filled. So that's price action, and that's what I use mainly too. To me, all the other stuff like um, the Elliott waves and all these other random like things are like to you is like noise. It's just because I've learned to use these so much that to me this isn't a whole bunch of random nonsense. This is more like, to me, I trust these levels. Like if we break this, we're going to that. So like I'm gonna follow that.
Oh, I got a
But
call coming in. Can you mute me real quick? Real quick. I'll be
yeah,
right back.
mm-hmm. I'll bring you back up. So like here, right? This is AJ. We broke that 94 support or resistance. It was a strong resistance. We broke
Yep.
out, which was this high. Now we're getting us literally we're gonna fall, which is expected. And what I'm
Yep.
thinking is we're gonna form support at this 94, 99 area. Why? Because this is this area. So if we form support here, it's gonna tell me that we're gonna go to 95.48, and I enter if
Or
it's if this is an
or if it closes below, then we're going back down to your next level,
mm-hmm.
which is 94.70
71
or
exactly.
71. Yeah.
So I would wait like since this is not a stock, but if it was a stock, I would wait towards like 12, 12:40, right before the market's about to close. If we look like we're going to hold right before the market closes, I'll enter my starter right before the market closes. Market opens, we're most likely going to get that bounce up that we were looking for, and I would enter more, or just since it's sometimes it's too late and it spikes so high that I can't really enter no more because my options are up so much, and I just let that one contract make me money. But it's always good just to enter the starters in the options world, because in the options world, if I enter $40, if it doesn't go my way, the next day I can close for a $15 loss or something like that, which I know in
The the safer position for me is at 94.42.
all the way down here, which is the 14 SMA.
Hold on. Where?
94.42 is right here.
Yep, right there. So that see that how that was strong resistance right there. How
Yep.
many times it hit one, two, three, four, 5 times or whatever, right?
Yep.
In that area.
Yep. And then we finally
So
broke it
that's
for
the
the
strongest. That's the strongest level.
yeah.
So I would want price to come back down to retest and reject off of that level, and then buy it up from there.
Okay.
Those that other line that you have in the middle, that's a good, like you said, that's a good starter.
For me,
Like I would
for
I would
me,
risk I would risk 10 cents
for
and
me,
put my stop below 94.22.
for me, I would enter now as let's say we broke under 94.99. That's not in my direction. I'm looking at we're going 95. This 14 SMA is already breaking this 42 area. By the time this falls down, this 14 SMA will be getting real close to this 94.71 area, meaning that the next bounce area is either going to be it's going to be pretty much this 94.71 area.
Yeah,
If we do break though, if we do break that 14 SMA when it hits there, it'll go to the 30 SMA, which will likely be at this 94.42 area,
yep,
which then it would be a good time for you to enter those areas. But for me, I would already be closing because it already broke my middle area, which is at 94.71. So if I bought calls, this would be my stop out, and this would be my target, 94.48. But it's a lot different because in an options or in the stock, most of the time we would form support here, we would hold, and most likely go to the next one. But I do, like you said, I do can see that too. I see that that's possible to go down there and go to that 94.42, and to be extra safe, you can wait for it.
I
Yeah.
think that's how I trade, is off of strong support, strong resistance, strong levels.
Mhm.
Like those the where we're at right now and the middle level, I would skip it
Yeah, yeah.
because
You would
because
wait for that for the
yeah,
strongest. You're looking
for
for
the
the
stronger one.
strongest, the most respected
Exactly.
zone. Exactly.
Yeah. And then that's where I would put my dollar lot. Like the middle one, I'd probably put like a 10
So,
cent,
so for you
right?
then, this would be essentially then missed. Like if it continues to go up, then you're like, oh well.
Yeah. Just like I did how I was patient on Mexican dollar.
Yeah,
How is that doing right now? Where are we at?
it's a little bit higher than we filled the gap up to the 30 SMA, and then we wicked. Now we're back to 2200. Yeah, it does have an extra points. Yeah, a whole bunch of points. But this is the hourly time frame.
Yeah.
2 hour gap shows that we're respecting the 14 SMA. I mean, rejecting the 14 SMA like we have been doing. So we could get a rejection here, break back below. Like for me, this would still be I would still be holding my my short position just because obviously we didn't fill this and we didn't break that 14 SMA or nothing like that. I feel like I don't know how much I would be down, but I would still be holding just because this is more of like a bigger time frame thing. We're down from this whole channels.
Damn, I missed it again. Yep. That's where that's exactly right where it wicked out. That is the level I was supposed to get in at because it broke out last night from that level, and I like just like on the last pair, AJ,
Yep.
that was pretty strong. See how it wicked to the top right now?
Yeah.
I missed the entry. That's where I wanted it. Remember, I said I was waiting for like 20 more pips to come back up,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I didn't jump in earlier,
How
and
come
I
you
was
don't?
right.
How
I
come you
was
don't
right.
set alerts?
I don't know, fucking. I
So so
normally what I should be doing is putting a limit to where it would have tagged me in.
yeah, you can do that too. You should you
Yeah, yeah.
should you should do that
That's
next time so
that's
that
yeah. I normally do that, but I'm just trying to be. I took a stupid trade last night,
okay. So you're just being
and I
on the
lost
safe.
a hundred bucks.
You're being on the safe side.
Yeah, being on the safe side, so I don't want to be in a rush just
No,
to get in
yeah,
something.
nothing wrong with
I'm
that, bro.
okay.
Nothing wrong with
Yeah,
that.
but so that's how I was playing it. But normally that's the levels I look at.
Yeah, yeah.
So
No,
like
and
if I missed it last night, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna wait for it to come back, right?
right.
And if it doesn't come back, it doesn't come back. It's all good.
It's all
Because
good,
sometimes
bro.
it's just the momentum just keeps driving it down and it
Yep.
won't come back.
Yep. Dixie looking bullish again. Went above 104. But yeah, it's good that you take it safe rather than like chasing the dragon and being
Yeah.
like, oh shit, bro, I need to make the $100 I lost back and just enter something random trying to make your money back and then in the end they're down more.
Yep.
DE bouncing off that 314. D has this monthly gap down to the 290 area. It's good to be entering now since we're bouncing up massively. We're up 30 points. We're at 314. This is more of a long-term position though, since this is a monthly gap. It can either fill this month or it can fill sometime next month. My dog scared the hell out of me. And I was also looking at Dell, but the
How long
what?
ago did Golden Nutsack say this on the chat?
Say what?
On the chat on YouTube?
I have not seen the chat on YouTube. I don't have the chat on YouTube open. Is my chat not open on the? I'm realizing that it's not even open on the Twitch stream. Usually I can see it here on my OBS if someone types, but it doesn't show anything. Let me hop on the YouTube.
Oh,
What?
you said you were able to put the chat on the side of the screen, right?
Yeah, but it's a little different now. It's just gonna pop up for like 15 seconds when someone types something, and then it'll
Oh, it
disappear.
doesn't stay there.
Yeah, it'll disappear. Yeah, the reason I did that is because the other day, right when I ended the stream, somebody had posted something, and it was like an advertisement saying like if I want to make like 50 followers, click this link,
Oh yeah, yeah.
and I'm like, oh my god, no. Oh, he said, what are we looking at? Well, if you're
How
still,
long ago was that
if you're
though? Does
still,
it show?
it says 3 are watching now, so no, it doesn't show. But if you're still tuned in, Golden Magnet, we're just doing some technical analysis on stocks and on pairs, just because it's a very choppy day. So we're not trying to dive into anything crazy today. We're just seeing how the market's gonna perform and how things are looking. Damn, remember Carvana was up 12% when we entered. It's only up 8% now.
Yeah. So guys, pull back.
10 to 20 SMA. Fine. It'll fill tomorrow. DAL back in the red zone. I really want to enter long-term puts on Dow to 26. See how cheap those are, because Dow is not a very expensive stock. It's kind of like AAL as well. Very cheapies. What the hell? Oh. I was like, bro, my SMAs disappeared for a minute there. I'm going to take these July 15, 25 puts for Dow.
Taking them off.
I'm going to take them as I'm going to enter these Dow puts for next month. This is a monthly time frame. We're already flushing. I'm expecting us to go down to 26.21 after we broke the 34.84 fib. It's gonna take a minute to get there, so I'm just buying these monthly time frames. They mean these monthly 3 weeks out at least. We already broke under that recent support. Stock formed all the way back up, and we're just retesting that recent area. So I'm just gonna enter a starter here. The contracts are only 40 cents, and they don't expire for about 4 weeks. So
Like contracts though.
2.
That's it. 40 cents.
It's $40. So I'm gonna be in $80, and I'm already in $65 for Carvana. So I'm already risking more than enough today. But I'll put in $80, and these don't expire for 3 to 4 weeks. So even if Dow jumps tomorrow 4 or 5%, I'm only gonna be down 20-25% on my position. So I can hold through that, no problem. And as like a mental note, breaking these recent like glizzies, because this is called like a glizzy. If we break these recent candles, then I'll close my position above 3102. It's only a few cents from where we're at.
Okay. Okay.
Yes, sir. Well, let me make sure I got filled.
Ivan, when's the last time you had a fade?
A haircut
Yeah.
last month, bro.
Like, but do you fade it up on the sides?
Yeah, I'm actually gonna get a haircut sometime this week, so you'll be able to see it. But usually I fade all this up. I get a mid fade all the way around, and then I trim the top because it gets really poofy. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I gotta trim it out. But yeah, I do get a fade. It's been looking kind of jungly right now,
A little bit.
huh?
Just the top. It's like you says, makes it more than what it is.
Yeah. It's always been like that, man. Yeah, I was looking at Dell puts, but I didn't enter any because of this monthly gap. The candle was still live, so I was waiting for this to monthly to close, or the month to end with this under, but we're above the 20 SMA, so this still has a possibility of turning green and breaking out of that 14 SMA to close above the 14 SMA, and it'll result in a bullish close at the end of the month rather than a bearish close, which is what I was looking for. Since the gap already got filled, this huge rebound up, it's kind of like pretty strong. It's going to keep that at above the 20 SMA. Probably going to set a little bit higher. But I was looking for some glizzy action back down based on how ugly these SMAs were, like dolphin diving on the 2 week chart. So we still have the possibility of it breaking the 14 SMA on the monthly, but it would have to break these 2 week SMAs first. And these are strong support and resistances. Since it's using both of them to hold that momentum down, it has to break both of these or all three of these in order for this to turn bullish again. But if it does break that, it will break the monthly gaps as well, resulting in a monthly gap break, a 2 week gap break, and a weekly gap break as well. And then it'll make everything look bullish again. And that's sort of a way to use the monthly SMA as well. You can use the monthly 14 SMA as like as soon as it breaks and holds above the 14 SMA, then you can buy calls long term to 61 because that's where we're gonna go long term because it's a monthly gap. But that's just a way to trade those long term setups. But like on a weekly time frame, if you were just to buy this gap, it's a weekly time frame. You would buy at least 2 weeks out, because it could happen this week, or if not, it will happen sometime next week. But I wouldn't enter based off of this chart or anything. I'm just saying if you were entering weeklies on like options, you have to buy some time. For everything in general, always buy time. Don't ever buy same day expirations or same week expirations unless you're like 100% certain that the stock's gonna go in that direction. Then for sure buy weeklies or buy general buy weeklies or same days. But for anyone trading options or just starting to trade options and you're looking into getting into a position for your first time ever, buy long or buy more time just to be safe. Because if it doesn't go in your direction, that the with the more time you have, the less that those contracts are gonna fall, or in your case as well, decay. So it's always good to have time just for safety. I still buy time, even if I'm like,
How long
oh,
what's your prediction for it to go to how far up and how
like
long?
even if it's a daily, like a daily or a 2 day gap. Let's just say like a 2 day gap. I saw a 2 day gap to this 51 area. Even if it's 2 days, it'll happen sometime in that week. I will still buy an extra week of time, just to be sure.
See, to me, like I wouldn't. I don't know. Like to me, it looks bearish, right?
No, no, I'm
Looks
not.
like
I'm not saying on this alone or anything. I'm just saying in general, like XYZ stock, not Dell, none of that. I'm just saying, if it's like a 2 day chart, I always buy time. If it's a weekly chart, I buy 2 to 3 weeks time. If it's a monthly chart, I'm buying more than a month or at least a month of time. At least a month of time. If it's like if it's a 4 3 2 hour gap, it's gonna happen sometime that week. So I'm buying weekly expirations. But if it starts to go to those bigger time frames, 2 3 day, 4 day, I'm buying more than a week of time for my safety and so that I don't lose as much money. But on those weekly time frames, those smaller time frames, those 2 3 hour, 4 hours, those have to fill sometime that week. So it's okay to take those weekly positions, and they're gonna be cheap either way. You just gotta know what you're risking at when it comes to those type of weekly scalps, because they decay very fast and they fluctuate very quickly in the options world. So if it doesn't happen, or if it doesn't go your direction, those options can go from 0% to negative 50% very quickly. But if you had time, they would be down probably like 10% or something like that, where your emotions can still be in check, no matter how if a stock were to fall or something like that. But you're saying this looked bearish?
no. Well, go. You keep switching from one to another, but I think it was the monthly chart or the weekly chart.
This one?
Yeah, because see, I see it made a lower low than like it broke that last support that had right there.
This?
So it made that low right there made a lower low. To me, yeah, I can go up and fill that gap, but I feel like it's gonna reject and continue down long
Yeah,
term.
yeah. Well, that's what I was looking at too because of the monthly gap. So we had this hot dog forming here before this stock, even before this candle went all the way up here. It was all the way down here. So we had a very like ugly setup looking. It was under the 20 SMA. It was under the 14 SMA. So in my head too, I was looking like we can retest these 30 SMA and go back down to 41. But based off of the weekly chart, yes, you're right. We could reject and go lower and fill this whole gap and get a glizzy. But if we break that 20 SMA again and start to form inside that weekly chart and hold there, we can get it back to 52. And things can start looking really bullish if we break that 30 SMA on the weekly. Because then above the 30 SMA will be above these highs above the 14 SMA, and if I was telling you earlier, 14 SMA breaks and 30 SMA breaks from these like highs are bullish, and if it closes above them, it'll form support above those 14 SMA or 30 SMA depending on how the SMAs are lined up. But in this case, if it breaks above the 14 SMA and forms support above the 14 SMA, then we're gonna start climbing again to the highs of 61. But as of right now, you would have to wait for confirmation. So that's why I'm like, if I'm gonna enter Dell, and that's why I have it highlighted in red zone because I was also bearish. I'm gonna wait until the end of the month to see where this candle closes. Because DE, see, this is DE, the Deere company. It has a monthly gap, and it's under the 20 SMA and the 14 SMA. It's already up in the past 2 days 5%, including this 2.5% jump because it was up 2.5% yesterday. So in total, it's up 5% in the past 2 days. From 314, it has climbed back to 330. Even though it's up 5%, it still looks very bearish on this monthly gap, and I still think that we can fill this to 290. On the 2 week gap, we have this bearish hot dog forming. Ugly news. Kind of like AJ, or was it AJ that we were looking at?
Yeah.
That had that bearish hot dog under the 30 SMA.
Yep. Yep.
So yeah, as soon as we break that 314 area for the fourth time, I'm pretty certain that we're gonna start filling that monthly gap down to that 290, which is our next area. I didn't enter any at the time that I was looking at DE because they were very expensive, but I bet you they're a lot cheaper now. Now that we're at 5%. The 290 puts for July 15 are $295. It's about a month time. But with these stocks, the 330 puts, the ones right under the 3, it's at 331. The strike right under those contracts, if I wanted to buy those to be super in the money, it would cost me $1,285. If by sometime next week or the week after that, it's already filling this monthly gap, those 290 puts that are trading at 251, which is $250, can be trading at $1,000 roughly if we start trading at 290 close, or if we start trading close to 290 by sometime next week or the week after that, because they have so much time that it's going to take a while for those to start decaying. If it's already like July, on that 15th of the week, the last of the week that it's going to expire, and DE is still here or somewhere at this area, those are going to be close to worthless because the decay has started happening closer to the end of that week. So it's always good. It's always keen to buy time. And with this monthly gap, since we're already inside the monthly gap and we've already fallen twice, it's going to happen within sometime the next month. Since we've already tried to fill this gap. We've already tried falling.
Did you see that little video I sent this morning on the Telegram?
I did. Of that guy, he was looking at some stocks.
Yeah, how he was talking about like the timing. If you're gonna be bullish
Yeah,
on stock,
it would be like right now, right?
yeah, exactly. Because people, they're something that their time is expiring, right?
Mm-hmm. And on top of that, everyone's buying based on the fact that Dixie's looking bearish, or it was looking bearish. Now we're looking bullish, which is what I want it to look like, especially with this
still in a
handle.
downtrend. It's in that channel, still going down, right? There's still room to come down.
So Dixie always good at following here.
It sucks because
So we have a bull
the
flag.
screen looks better on my TV, but there's a delay of 10 seconds.
Oh shit.
But
All
I
right.
know,
So we
I know,
have obviously we have the big cup, and then we have a handle, and inside the handle, which would be the most bullish part of the cup and handle, we have a bullish flag or falling wedge, however you want to look at it, forming inside. Breaking out of this wedge will break above the 14 SMA, will fill the gap to 104.58. Breaking above the 30 SMA will fill us to 1463, which will then start breaking us out of this entire bull flag, and we'll start to reclaim these highs of 105.64. Usually on bull flags or falling wedges or rising wedges, they reclaim those highs or reclaim those lows depending on if it's breaking down or up. 105.71 reclaim. If we break that, we're going to go to 105.31, which is already going to be real close to breaking us out of a cup and handle breakout to 106.12. If we don't hold this area and we break back down and break under its recent candle, we can flush back to 103.89 before we get any type of bounce again. But right now, it's looking like it's just wedging itself up for a good little bounce here. Looking like. Especially with the false breakout here, where we ended up breaking down, tapping to 103.89, bouncing all the way back inside the gap, and now we're forming literally inside the gap here. Even SMAs are outside of the wedge, right above it, on smaller time frames. I'm really liking Dixie here. I really wish I could trade Dixie, but you really can't. I mean, you can trade like, I know you can trade the pairs and stuff like that, but I just want to trade DXY, bro.
then that's another thing is too. You want to find the weakest pair and match it up with the dollar. So like we said, like the yen's gonna be weak,
Yeah.
so that would be a good pair to buy because it's the dollars. It's USD JPY, so you would buy it for dollar strength.
Okay. Makes sense.
So
Makes sense. But that's what I'm saying. Like, hold on, I'll be right back. I need to restroom.
you ran out the room. You ran out the room like you had to take a shit.
I had to take a piss, bro. I've been holding that in for so long, and I just wanted to keep talking, so I was like, fuck. What's up? Amazon's up 2%. Damn, waked off of our alert. $30 SMA wick.
Yeah, I think Dixie DXY is gonna continue down. It just shows in the other charts that there's more room to go down,
Yeah, there's definitely more room to be made to go down.
and
I
it makes
just
sense. It makes sense for the stocks to have a pullback.
I just look at them both ways, you know?
Oh, let's look at Bitcoin. We haven't looked at Bitcoin.
Because nobody's in it, bro. 21,000, long term. Got to go back to the 14K. My mentor that I learned all my analysis from and stuff. He was posting on Twitter. He thinks that it's gonna go back to 9,000.
Yeah, me too.
So I was like, Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
I was looking at 14K, probably 10K.
Yeah, 9,000 is a better support.
Yep, here,
Yeah,
this area right here.
yep. And then if we go below that, holy shit.
It'll go back to fucking 3,000, 2,000.
Yeah.
That'll be pretty bad. Are these still like the two biggest cryptos? Ethereum and Bitcoin?
I would say so. I don't trade it. I just keep an eye on it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't trade it either, but damn, Ethereum's at 1,000. I do remember seeing this at 4,000. So,
Yep.
damn. What about all these shit coins, guys? People are still putting their money in this. They didn't. Elon Musk recently get sued for the pyramid scheme of Dogecoin.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus Christ. The amount of people who lost money on this shit. Did you even do it, bro? Don't lie. Did you dive
Oh,
in?
I
Did you dive
remember
in?
Herman though. Herman was like all excited. He was up. He was up
Oh,
like
he
five
was.
thousand
He was
dollars.
in some Doge, huh?
Up like $5,000, and I told him like, bro, just
Close.
fucking take it.
I know
Take it.
he ended up
He goes, no, it's a
holding it,
long term hold. Like, all
bro.
right.
These pump and dumps are never long term holds, bro.
There's no. It's not like stocks. Like stocks have history behind it, right?
Yeah,
It has.
there's not even
These
that.
companies
They're
have a value put to it.
yeah, there's
But
literal
crypto is like so new.
fundamentals behind it.
There's nothing behind it.
I can create a crypto coin right now, bro, and it just advertise the hell out of it on Twitter. And then if I get enough people to jump on that shit, I can get that shit to pump to 400% in one day, and before the next day it'll fall back to zero. But it don't matter because we already took our
Can't you
400%
can't
gain,
hate
right?
on you, you can't hate on him then, Elon. You can't hate on him because you just said you would do it too.
I'm saying, imagine all the people who lost money, and I was saying,
I
didn't
know,
Elon
but
Musk get sued? I wasn't hating on him. I'm just saying, imagine people who lost money on it.
oh
Sucks.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Sucks, but at the end of the day, you should know what you're getting into, bro. These pyramid schemes, these Doge coins and alternative coins and whatever coin you're investing in today is just a pump and dump. It's gonna,
I look at it as it was a project. He funded his projects off of this. This is how he makes his. This is how he gets all these projects done. Is like you're investing into his projects.
yeah. No, I get what you mean.
He just takes that money and fucking puts it in to rockets or whatever, right?
And that's kind of like the way I looked at these crypto coins was the way I looked at like penny stocks. Like I never traded penny stocks because they were so volatile. They were just getting squeezed left and right, and then they were falling back down to zero. And the way I looked at crypto coins was the way I looked at penny stocks. That they were just getting pumped from pennies to like $3, $4, and going all the way back down to pennies. Like I don't know when that's gonna happen, bro. I don't know when it's gonna be squeezed. I have to like hop on the wagon that everybody's tweeting on Weibo or some shit that like this is the next squeeze or something like that. I don't know. I don't know how to track squeezes. I guess that's all has to do with like flow and how much inflow is coming in, buyers, and like how much volume is trading on that specific company throughout the beginning of the day. If it's like unusual for that company, then potential squeeze happening. I don't know.
Imagine these countries that had legalized or recognized Bitcoin as legal tender, and
Oh,
you
oh
were trading
yeah,
above you're trading above 50 50K, right? And now it's only worth fucking 20,000. Like your
dude.
buying power went to shit. Can't buy much with fucking Bitcoin now.
Right? Well, it's like, wouldn't that be like the thing for Coinbase? Like, look at this company. It's just down massive.
Oh yeah.
It's down alongside the crypto. It's down to $58. It IPO'd at fucking 300 something dollars. No way. $380. It spiked to like 429 and it never went that high ever again. How sad. Hey, bro. Well, I think I'm gonna call it a day here. I've already entered the positions that I gotta be in. I'm not gonna really trade too much anymore. I'm gonna hold the positions I'm in right now. I was gonna enter a spy call in the morning, but spy opened up a little higher than I expected it to be, so I didn't enter anything for spy. We could take the 4 hour gap, but there's not that much money to be made from here to there. So I'm not gonna risk $400 to make like $50. That's all. That's pretty much what you can do here with spy. It's something like that. So yeah, no.
Yep.
And then I'm in this paper trade that's also down. I'm gonna have to figure out how this works. I'm gonna mess around with the Wanda and stuff and get more into these forex pairs. It is very interesting to me, and I do want to get more into it. Hopefully, trade alongside you guys too.
Yeah. My only thing was is I didn't want to venture off into this and into that. I wanted to get really good into one thing and then move on,
Yeah, and
venturing off to stocks and whatever else, right?
yeah, and that's
Because it
why
is a whole different. It's a whole different way of trading, and
whole different the way you were explaining it to me, bro, was like Jesus Christ. The option world to me seems so much more simpler. But
yeah,
like
exactly.
it all depends where you start though. Like you started with forex, so to you the forex seems a lot more simpler than the options world, right? But yeah, I'm gonna be definitely more heavy on the options, but I wouldn't mind if I knew that Dixie's was gonna go a certain way, entering something in like AJ or something like that, or in UCAD or something like that. Something that's strong the dollar. I don't know, right? Something like UCAD
Yep.
would go up with Dixie.
Yep.
Yeah,
Or you and UJ. Do you have UJ up there?
I don't. But I will add it. Oh yeah, this shit's skyrocketing, bro.
Yep. Crazy, huh?
Yeah. Damn, this is actually like the fuck new highs.
Yeah, it's since 2000 or 98, 1998 or something.
Never been this high. It's just like literally the biggest inverse head and shoulder I've ever seen in my life. You would just use like this neckline, I guess, as like the trigger point, and be like, damn guys, if we break this all-time support here, we'll break out, and that's what's going on. That's insane. That's wild. Cool to see, but it's like, where the fuck do you go from here, right?
I know. Got to come back down. Can't just keep going up.
Jesus. Well, we got a few more points that we hit 140, and that's probably gonna be the next top for say. So like the SMAs too, I use them like in these situations where you're like, where the fuck's the next stop at, right? And using
400 pips.
yeah, using the fibs would be
It's like
140,
500 pips.
but that's a big level. We're talking about a
And I put $1 a lot on that to go up there that you're making
that's another 3%. Yeah, about 452 pips.
$4,000 on $1 lot.
Jesus Christ! But I
No,
mean,
not more than 4,000. What did I say for
you said 4,000.
40,000? 40,000, right?
40,000. It's 400 pips is 40,000.
Yep.
Fuck. I mean, and then like the chances of it going back down to retest is very likely. So, like, entering now would just be like idiot. But yeah, bro, I'm done for today. Um,
Yeah,
I'm not
same.
not entering any
Go
more
get a nap, and I
trades.
gotta wake up and go do some shit.
Cool. I'll be on Thursday. I don't know if Manas will be back by then, but if he is, we'll all hop
Well, I
on.
think he's coming back today or tomorrow. Yeah.
Oh, cool. Then we can all stream together on Thursday, and
Yep.
then I'll hop on earlier so that we can get the Discord and the OBS working perfectly, so that you're not lagging and like Manas isn't lagging, like so everything looks good, you know.
It looks like it's just lagging on YouTube. It's not lagging on. It's got to be from when you pick up the stream or my video, and then it goes over to YouTube. It's lagging in between there.
No, no, like your face is frozen on my laptop screen right now.
On the whatchamacallit? On
Yeah,
Discord?
yeah. Like I'm looking at you on my PC monitor and you're frozen.
Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah.
On my end, it looks good on whatchamacallit.
I don't know
Not on
what
YouTube.
I don't know what that is. It must be the fact that I'm streaming or something. But hell yeah, bro. Thanks for tuning
I
in.
think I spoke too much too. All right.
You're funny.
All right. I'll see you Thursday then.
Sounds good.